Hi there. So we're looking at the intersection of a circle and a line, right? So as you can see, I've kind of got everything ready for this one. So if we have a circle and a line, there are three possible outcomes. The first outcome is the circle and the line meet at two distinct points, so the line crosses the circle. The second option is that the line is a tangent to the circle, so it meets at one point. And the third option is that the line and the circle never intersect. So if we have the equation of both the line and the circle, we can put these two together, so kind of the let y equal y like we did with the intersection of two lines. But in this case, it's going to have to be, we're going to have to substitute in one equation into the other. We'll do it in an example in a second and I'll put steps at the side. But we can then, we're going to get a quadratic equation and we can use the discriminant as a way of seeing how the things intersect. So for the line and the circle meeting at two distinct points, we have the situation where our discriminant, so b squared minus 4ac, is going to be greater than 0. So same as it was when we had two real roots for equations when we're trying to find our quadratic equations roots, that tells us that it intersects the x-axis at two distinct places. This is telling us that the line intersects a circle at two distinct places. For the line being a tangent to the circle, that means it meets at one point. So that's the same as having kind of a double root. So b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. And our last one, the line and the circle never intersect. That is when b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. And we can use that quadratic as well and solve it to find the points of intersection if they're asked for. So let's go on and do some examples because that's really it for this bit. So going on. Right, so we need to show that the line y equals 2x plus 8 meets the circle x squared plus y squared plus 4x plus 2y minus 20 equals 0, and then find the coordinates of intersection. So showing that the line meets the circle, to do that we're going to have to substitute in the equation of the line into the equation of the circle. And then once we've done that, we are going to kind of multiply everything out and collect our terms to get our quadratic. So simplify is our second one, and then use the discriminant to see how they meet. Right, and assuming that they do meet, this one it says that they do, but we kind of need to, it still says show, so you still need to kind of prove that they do meet, and then find the coordinates of intersection. So the coordinates of intersection will be the roots of that quadratic that we get once we've subbed it in and sorted everything out. Right, so we have y equals 2x plus 8, and our circle is x squared plus y squared. So instead of y, I'm writing 2x plus 8 plus 4x plus 2 times, again instead of y I'm writing 2x plus 8, so I'm substituting it in, minus 20 equals 0, because remember when we're solving two equations which have two unknowns, we've got three options. We either solve them simultaneously, we let them equal each other, or we sub one into the other. And in this case, because we've got y squared, we can only do the substitution. So if we simplify this, so we have x squared plus, squaring this bracket, we're going to get 4x plus 16x plus 16x, which is 32x, and then 8 times 8, which is 64, plus 4x, let's sort that bit out, getting ahead of myself and writing x before I've written the 4, 4x plus another 4x plus 16 minus 20 equals 0. So then we can collect our like terms. So there should be a squared there. So we have 5x squared. And then we've got 32 plus 4 plus 4, so plus 40x And then we have 64 plus 16, which is 80, take away 20. So that is plus 60 equals 0. So here we should take out a common factor, so 5, and then we get left with x squared plus 8x plus 12 equals 0. So let's use the discriminant here, so b squared minus 4ac, so it's going to be equal to 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 12. So we get 64 take away 48, which is 16. So for as b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, it intersects at 2 points. Right, so now once we've done that, we can now factorize the quadratic if you can, or use the quadratic equation to find your x values or your y values, because you can actually substitute in x equals, like the equation of the line can be in the form x equals and then everything else, to, like, if that's easier. So factorize or use the quadratic equation to find your x coordinates. And then once you've done that, you're going to sub in to find your y coordinates. So sub into the line equation to find the y coordinates. Right, so since we've done that, so we have 5 x squared plus 8x plus 12 equals 0. So 5, and then it's x plus 6, x plus 2. So that means we have x plus 6 equals 0, or x plus 2 equals 0. So we have the points x equals minus 6 and x equals minus 2. And we can put them in. So we've got y equals 2x plus 8. So for our first coordinate, so we can find out what our points of intersection are going to be. So it's minus 6 something and minus 2 something. So doing this, so it's y equals 2x plus 8. So 2 times minus 6 is minus 12, add the 8, so that's minus 4. And then 2 times minus 2, which is minus 4, plus 8, so that's 4. So we have our points of intersection are minus 6 minus 4 and minus 2 plus 4. Right, so we're going to do one more example on this. It means so we have to show that the line y equals x minus 10 meets the circle x squared plus y squared plus 4x plus 8y minus 12 equals 0, and find the coordinates of intersection. So same again, so first things first, so we know x squared plus, replace in here, x minus 10 squared plus 4x plus 8 x minus 10 minus 12 is equal to 0. So x squared plus x squared minus 20x plus 100 plus 4x plus 8x minus 80 minus 12 is equal to 0. So yeah, you can see these do take up quite a lot of space along your page, but there's nothing in here that's like overly complex in terms of kind of squaring things and multiplying things out. It's just all the algebraic manipulation that you've been doing already. So x squared plus x squared is 2x squared. Minus 20 plus 4x plus 8x is minus 20, add 12, which is minus 8x. And then we've got plus 100 minus 80, so that is 20, take away 12, which is plus 8 equals 0. So at this point we can take a common factor, so 2 x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. So if we use b squared minus 4ac, it's always worth kind of doing this just to check before we keep going. So b squared, so minus 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 4. So you can kind of see here already, so it's 16 take away 16, which is 0. So therefore, as b squared minus 4ac equals 0, it's a tangent. So because we've got a tangent, that means we're going to have a double root. So if we then go to here, so we've got x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0, which when we factorize it is going to be x minus 2 equals 0. So therefore x is 2. So our point of intersection is going to be 2, and then substituting 2 into our equation of our line, so we get y equals x take away 10, so 2 take away 10, which is minus 8. Right, so that is all about points of intersection between a line and a circle.